I'm Chrissy, and welcome to Talking Shit.
So today we're going to be talking about goals for 2024. Yes, setting goals and why it's important and the type of goals to set. So you've been on this huge kick with goals already this year.
I have.
Let's talk about what some of your goals are and some of the things you're doing.
So just a little backstory. I've set goals for myself for 10 years. And last year, 2023, was the first year I did not actually physically write out my goals.
Let's just throw that whole year out.
Yeah. And it did. It messed me up. I didn't keep track of stuff anyway. So fast forward, I was just gung ho this year that I was going to set goals. So I have some, career goals that I'm setting. But my biggest personal goal was to declutter my life. And decluttering not just like items, but decluttering nonsense and people. And then every single week, I'm going to declutter one thing. Now I'm an overachiever. So this year already,
two a week.
Oh, I've done like 2 a day. But I know that if there's a point in time that I have to relax and I don't have time, then I'm still on track for reaching my goal, far exceeding my goal, which is great.
Like, so give examples on like what you're decluttering. I think I seen a video where you're decluttering a closet.
Yeah. So we have lots of games. We play lots of board games as a family. And some of those games we play often. So we keep them downstairs and they're just stacking up in the coat closet.
I have a lot of board games too.
Yeah.
But I don't play mine.
Oh, we love board games.
It's not fun to play by yourself.
You come play with us. Hudson will school you on board games. Anyway, so they were just stacking up, and then just different items that were tossed in that closet, and it's drove me crazy for a while. So simple. It literally took me maybe 15 minutes to declutter the whole closet.
I've been organizing. I didn't make it a goal to declutter and organize it, but I've been organizing my house, like even my pantry, like everything.
Yeah, that's what
I might take it to the extreme. I might have a smidge of OCD.
Yeah. Well, and the less people you have in your house, which I've noticed, it's a lot easier to keep things decluttered and organized, you know?
Yeah, because if I mess something up, I know that I did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's easier just to put stuff back,
But like you said, it is really good because first of all, you find the things that you didn't even know you still had.
Yeah.
Like,
and if I haven't used it in a year. Right. So, well, that's the other thing. Like, how do you decide what to get rid of,
Oh,
so,
I would get rid of everything.
Well, I love how freeing it is. The less I have, the more peace I have.
I used to want like everything in life, and now I'm like, I want less things. Like, I wish I could find even a face care routine like makeup that like had 4 steps to it, and I only needed 4 different items because I hate having so much stuff.
Right, so much to do. Well, that's one of my goals this year is I do have a lot of face stuff and hair stuff, and like honestly, I don't need it. I don't use it.
Well, because we're always like, oh, let's try this.
Let's try this, right? And then I keep it because I paid $30 for it, so I don't want to get rid of it. It's so stupid. So I just need to stop buying that stuff. Find what works and just stick to it and be okay with it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my goal this year.
That's a really good goal to declutter. Yeah. So what does decluttering people look like? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Sometimes there's people in your life who you hang on to because you're just scared to let go.
Well, I agree, and I would say that 2023 was really a good year that I started to declutter people in my life.
It was eye-opening of who's really there,
yes,
who's really what,
yes,
and what
they bring.
What, yes,
and what they bring. And I think I just sent you this quote, I believe, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but this is the thing. When you declutter people in your life, there's no ill will. It's not, I wish bad things for you. It's just like, hey, we're on different spectrums of life right now.
Yeah, you can see those people still be
hug them,
like, hey,
love them.
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
but like,
you're doing good.
They don't get to know the ins and outs of your every single day life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things like, my husband had surgery. So very few people knew that. Very few people knew that. And it was kind of nice because I didn't have people bombarding me and me feeling like I had to let them know how he was. I could just focus on him and making sure that he was good and, what was going on in our house.
I used to be the type of person that like wanted to be liked by everybody.
Oh,
I wanted everybody
yeah.
to like me. I wanted to get along with everybody. I wanted as many friends. It would actually really hurt my feelings if someone didn't like me or didn't like associate with me. I was like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Now, as I've grown throughout the years, I don't really care as much if people like me or know everything about me. I like to keep my circle very small of the people that I trust and that I go to and that know everything that I'm going
and
through.
I would say our circle is very small.
Correct.
But we don't always agree in life with each other, but we always have each other. Like we have different opinions, sometimes different goals, whatever. But I would say our circle is very small, and we're fortunate for our circle, though.
Here's the thing that people don't understand, I think, about goals. If you don't set goals, I feel like you're just aimlessly walking around.
That's how,
and,
like, 2023 was for me.
Keep your head above water or function. If you set goals, you have a clear distinction of what you're trying to achieve.
Right. And some of them can be short term.
Yeah,
some of them can be short term goals, some of them can be long term goals. Like when I decided to do the decluttering this year, I was like, you know what? I mean, it's so overwhelming sometimes to think, oh my gosh, I have to declutter one thing a week. Well, once I started doing it, I started realizing that I could declutter little things.
That's a big thing too. People look at stuff as like, oh my gosh, it's
so overwhelming. Right.
So one of my goals for 2024 is, but one of my top ones is working on my patience.
Yeah.
I need to become a more patient person in every single aspect of my life. So what I've been doing is I've been painting, freehand painting. And I don't know where I got the idea, but it has been so therapeutic because I just zone out. I put music on in the house and I literally just paint.
Yeah.
And you have to be tedious with that. I mean, I'm painting my stairs right now. You have to, trim everything out. And so it's teaching me a lot of patience. It's
kind of like just like a meditation for you.
It is.
Yeah, it's something. A lot of people think that meditating is actually sitting in complete silence, but it's really not. If you do the research on meditation, it's just zoning out. It's putting all the stress out and doing something that you can focus on and relax. That's what it's all about. So that's great.
So what are some goals that you have for work-wise? I know that we're always doing different things. That's another aspect that a lot of people don't know.
Get sidetracked.
You're a realtor, I run the gym, but there's also other little projects that we do and other little things that we have going on.
Yeah. So we've been tossing around this podcast forever. So we committed that we're going to meet every week and do this.
2023 was a shit year.
Yeah. And we're going to keep
and it didn't do very well in the launch. And that's a whole nother story that we won't ever probably talk about on the podcast.
No, we're going to keep it very positive. Yes. So we met in the sauna and sat and chatted, and we're going to do this. And, hopefully through this podcast, we can help people, encourage people, and bring ideas to people.
To ourselves. Even just talking, sitting, talking with a friend for 20 minutes, it's just,
this is a passion of ours for sure.
Yeah.
So this podcast is one of my goals and yours as well. And then I am partnering with somebody, and we're opening a boutique this year. So I'm really excited about that. Been working on that for several months.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting. And then you said I sell real estate. So in real estate, for me, I sell a lot of real estate. And so this year, really my goal is to maintain. And I've been trying to get a girl on my team underneath me, and she's been a little hesitant to jump. So my goal this year is to get her up and started, because it's life-changing. It was life-changing for me.
So she wants to work on you as a realtor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Yep. She's going to be an agent. Yeah. So, and then
Do you have like a certain amount you're trying to sell this year, or do you sell
I
goals
like
like
to
that
stay
for work?
between 8 and 10 million,
Okay.
and that's a high volume in our area. That's a high volume. I've done steady 8 million the last couple years, which was a little easier.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you. Which was a little easier than years before.
Well, with the way the world is, you just never know
You
from
don't.
day to day. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not day to day, but week to week, like what the real estate market
Right.
is going to do.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be very driven and
Yes.
keep at it.
Yeah.
You
And it's a
have to be
lot of long
willing-
hours.
Yes, yes.
It's a lot of
And there's a
of work.
lot of no pay for things you actually do.
Right.
Too.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And I mean, I've shown houses for 2 years to people before they ever purchase a house. When you talk about patience, when it comes to real estate, I'm a very, very patient person. I know what I'm doing. I'm very driven. And really what leads me in every venture that I do is passion. So I'm extremely passionate.
so what advice do you have for anybody who wants to sit down and basically create an outline for their 2024 and what they want to achieve, what they want to do, and their goals?
Well, I think with goals, you have to be realistic with your goals. But you have to put it out into the universe. Like, if you don't put it out there and hold yourself accountable, it's not going to happen.
So you mean like putting it on paper?
Yeah,
Put it on
absolutely.
paper.
Put it right in front of your face
Look
every
at it
single
every
day.
day.
Every single day. Yep. And then really just being super intentional. You've got to be intentional about your goals. Money, when it comes to personal goals, whether it's physical or mental goals, I think you should include all of it.
Yeah. I think 10 is like a good range to start.
Yeah.
Set 10 goals for yourself
And check them off.
2024. And they can be small as in like, I want to drink 64 ounces of water a day, or before noon every day. I mean, just as long as I feel like you're doing something to progress forward,
right,
and to be better. I think that's the main takeaway for me.
Right.
People become stagnant because they don't set goals.
I just had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and she said the same thing. She has a child, an older child, and he has kind of became stagnant in life because he works from home and stuff like that. And it's easy to fall into that and not realize that the world is happening around you.
Yeah.
So you've got to have some intention there. There's really, motivation is kind of shit. You've got to have some insane dedication.
Correct. Exactly. So, motivation comes and goes.
Yeah.
It's the dedication and the discipline that
Right.
you have behind it. Because there's some days where you're just going to wake up and you're going to not be motivated.
Yeah.
So then you have to
this
have
morning.
the discipline to get, this morning I was not motivated to be here in the snow, and neither were you.
And the slush, but we were here
The
early.
discipline got us here.
So what's another goal of yours? What else you got?
So I'm really, really working on being intentional when I speak and controlling my emotions.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me. I'm a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I'm mad, you're gonna know. If I'm happy, you're gonna know. If I'm sad, you're gonna know. And me. Yeah. Me. Who I am, and be okay with me.
The good, the bad.
Bad. And let's talk on that for a second, because a lot of people think, okay, I've reached my goal, so all right, I can check that off. What now?
Yeah.
It's important once you reach that goal to stay on top of that goal, or whatever it is. Like me, I want to control my emotions. So say I learn to control my emotions better, and I'm like, man, I'm doing really good. There are going to be times where I'm going to still fail. There's going to be times where you're not going to meet that goal, or you're not going to be perfect, or you're going to still feel like, you're not doing everything you can, or you're going to have
you're not 100% every
You're not going to have a bad day.
Right.
Exactly. I don't know anything that is 100% all the time.
Yeah.
Technology's not 100%.
Right.
It has problems. So how, as humans, can we not look and have compassion for another? You know what I mean?
Well, me and Joe just talked about that. this is huge for us. So like there's just some days that I'm 30% because I am torn in so many different directions. So when I'm at home, I only have 30% left. That's it. I have 30% to give him. That used to really bother him. But he's come to understand that on those 30% days, he has to be 70% because we have to have 100% in our household. But on the days that he's only 30%,
you can pick up.
I step up and I do the 70%. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's, you're not always 100%.
So, speaking of that, goals for relationship and marriage. Do you and Joe sit down together and
We do.
set goals for
Yeah.
what you want your relationship to grow to this year, or things you want to do, or things like that?
So one of the fun things that we do is we talk about where how far we've came, so backstory, we're a blended family, and had a lot of kids in a house at once, and now we're down to just a few school age kids, very, very close with all of our children. But, it was tough. It was tough. So looking back from where we started and what our goals were, just to make it through a year together, still married, now to like, there's no, I mean, I can honestly say like we made it. So now our goals are completely different than they were year one. So we both work a lot of hours. Joe's busy with his job. So we do a lot of it via text, but then we sit down and I'm like, okay, we've got to match our goals up. And what doesn't align is okay. And we've come to realize that if we have goals in our marriage that don't align, we just kind of revamp them. So like I had a couple goals this year that I thought were going to be great, and I was so excited. I was like, oh, after the first year we're going to sit down, we're going to talk. And I kind of got the look from Joe like, that's not where I was at. And so I had to step back and say, okay, he has his reasons and I have my reasons. And so I kind of revamped my goals for what our marriage were, but we aligned most of the time.
So give me examples of
that. So one of the things, and this is a big one. So we have both been divorced before. So one of the things we've always had is we have an account together and we have two separate accounts. Well, I feel like we're kind of everywhere. And I thought, what's missing? Well, what's missing is we're not united. Like we need to put everything all in one basket. And so I thought I had this great plan.
Women always want it united, and I was like, you're not touching.
Well, this is the thing though. It keeps going out. So this is the thing though. I make a substantial income. So it really is beneficial to Joe. Mm-hmm. So it's not a money thing to him. But his thing is that if we unite, he wants to feel like he's buying me something. Like it's his money and not necessarily my money.
There might be other aspects of that. Like you said, he's been married, you've been married. So that, I mean, I would hope in your marriage you would know, but I'm just saying for other marriages, there could be reserves on. You never know what the ex-wife, like if the ex-wife had access to the money, if they spent, or if it was a joint account and basic, you know what I mean? There's different.
It was.
Okay. So you said that you set goals and you and Joe sat down and Joe had different ones and you had to revamp. And
right.
For instance, the accounts were kind of one of them.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing though. The reason it works for us though, because our goals still stay the same, but how we're going to get there is going to change. And which is totally fine. I had to listen to what he had to say and he listened to what I had to say. And, we're leaving the accounts like they are, but we still have the same goals.
Yeah. So how do you reach that goal with the same? How do you get there if you had to revamp what your thought process was?
Well, it's going to be a lot of communication and a lot of intention is really what it's going to take. And if anybody can do it, Joe and I can do it. Like we have insanely good communication.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it. We knowing that we both have the same goal, just getting there a different way it's just okay.
And that's fine because like what you said, everybody has a different way of getting to their destination. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
What matters is that you're
And
getting there.
I was super excited. I thought I had it all figured out. And in my head, I did have it all figured out. But after listening to Joe and his reasoning, like, I have to have some compassion for that,
Yeah.
He works hard. Like, he wants to be able to do those things for me. And, we have separate children. So, like, if he wants to spoil his boys or whatever, he wants to feel like he's doing it. And that's fine. I spoil the kids all the time, all of them.
No, I completely agree. So, I mean, I think that was a good episode today. Let's encourage people to sit down and write their 2024 goals.
Yeah. Even if it's only 3 goals.
Correct. I mean, 5 to 10. I feel like
Yeah.
people can get at least 5 to 10 goals down. They can be small as long as you're just moving forward. And do it. Don't keep putting it off. Do it before the end of January. Do it this week. Start getting started on it. You don't have
Write
to be
it
one of those
down.
people that's like, oh, I didn't start on the new year, so I'll wait till next year.
Well,
it's never too late.
That's the other thing is if you write goals down and you're exceeding them, add to 'em. It's an endless sheet of paper.
Yep.
You just keep on writing.
Yep.
You just keep on trucking.
I agree. So yeah, I hope everybody sits down and I hope they start to do their goals for the year, and I hope everybody achieves them because I'm truly just the type of person that I just want the best for everybody. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to have happiness, and I just want everybody to be successful if that's what they want. I mean, if you want to be lazy, then
be good at being lazy.
I don't know how that would work. I'll pin that one for next week, and we'll come back and we'll think, how can we be good at being lazy?
It's not who I am.
So, do you want to pick a quote that maybe, I know quotes, so a quote for maybe people to carry with them for
I have a good one
this next week.
Yes, I have a good one. You're gonna win in front of the people who doubted you.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to just a good, and you're gonna love this about me. One of my goals this year is to attend less arguments.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah. And I really have to be intentional about that because I'm such a passionate person. Not that I love to be argumentative, but I do love to be passionate. So I've had to step back just a little. So win in front of the people who doubt you.
For the next week, go out there and win in front of all the people who doubted you.
Yeah. And you don't have to shove it in their face. Just do it and feel good about it. That's it.
Every time you think somebody said I couldn't, I can.
It's the best
motivation.
So till next time.